got to 1K a day in about a month,
Mm-hmm.
and then had some issues with Facebook because I run kind of risky content like before and after photos and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that BM went down, and then I had another BM that went up to 2K a day again, and then that BM went down. So I guess first time took me about a month of actually advertising, and then second time was pretty much instant after I got stuff back.
Nice. And it's like we'll cover some of those things, and also like on a tactical level in terms of how to deal with with BMs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the important thing to realize is that issues with BMs and stuff like that is just some of those like temporary kind of like obstacles, right? That come your way. But everyone, if you ask like anyone who's doing well right now, and you ask them like who's doing like millions per month, and you ask them if they ever had issues with banned accounts, banned business managers, whatever issues they had, you ask them like, yeah, of course I had, right? And like that's what they tell you, because that's just part of the game, part of like overcoming obstacles. The same way you open like restaurant business or you open any other business, you have those obstacles that just part of the game in particular industry. So there's no questions that you will overcome those and it will be absolutely crushing it. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. It's is it late for you? Like you're in Australia, right?
Yeah, it's 4 a.m., but I woke up a little bit early. So I woke up at like 2:30.
My man, thank you so much. Sorry for sorry for waking you up. I know we have crazy time.
No, that's no problem.
Awesome. So yeah, we're here live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook, on YouTube, and yeah, I just want to learn more about your journey. Kind of like the main things that because like getting to that $1,000 a day, $2,000 a day, is that like for many people is that like initial success after they're like, oh shit, I mean, I can do it, right? And then you start building on that success, you start building on that confidence that you acquire along the way. So just want to learn kind of on a tactical level and also on a mindset level, kind of like how you made it happen. So if you can tell more about yourself. I know you're 21, right? Or 22?
I'm 20.
20. You're 20 years old.
20 about a month ago. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. And you're still studying in college?
So I'm at university. I'm at university, but like I do it online, and I'm not really the biggest fan of the university system. I'm kind of doing it more for my parents. My parents are kind of immigrants to Australia, so like out of respect to them, kind of finishing my degree, kind of make them happy. But I'm not the biggest fan of the university system in most degrees, at least.
I see. What are you studying in the university? What topic?
Software engineering.
Oh, software engineering.
Yeah.
Is that something that excites you or not necessarily?
Not at all. To be honest with you, not really. Like I don't think I'm really gonna use it too much. I think it helps somewhat with eCom, like learning coding and things like that. So I think it's at least somewhat complementary to what I'm doing outside of university. But yeah, I don't find it too interesting, but yeah.
It's interesting, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating how, and it's good that you have that awareness. I mean, you're 20 years old and you're like, I don't really enjoy it, because in many cases people go for like decades doing something that they don't enjoy, right? You have that awareness at a very young age. It's like, this is not necessarily the path I want to have, right? You will go and you will complete, whatever to keep your parents happy, but it's something that it's important to realize, okay, what makes you happy? What makes, your life enjoyable? Because to do something just for, for work's sake, or just to like put money on, because there's so many ways you can make money, right?
Absolutely.
You can make money with being software engineer. You can make money like, running e-commerce business. You can make money like if you like cooking food, like you can run like a restaurant. Like there's so many ways to make money. It's important to realize what is fulfilling for you and what makes you happy, because you don't want to be just like someone who maybe makes like a good income, but someone who's fucking hates to go to work like on Monday, right? And every day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. How you got into e-commerce?
Pretty interesting story, because so growing up, my brother's very entrepreneurial, my older brother. So I've actually been working for his marketing agency since I was 16. So
Uh-huh.
he's in SMMA, he's in a few couple of business ventures. So since I was quite young, that kind of entrepreneurship mindset's kind of been with me for a long time. So around 2021,
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure how much you know, during like COVID lockdowns in
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can say that on YouTube, but
Yeah.
with some of the lockdowns that happened, Melbourne was very, very
Strict.
like serious. It was one of the worst ones in the world. And I think I was in year 11 then, and I kind of had some free time and was looking at eCom and saw some of these guys, like, I'm not sure if they're still on YouTube now, like Sebastian Georgia and Nate Schmidt, some of
Uh-huh.
those ecom guys, and I gave it a try and did really bad. Got like I was running like earphone store, so I wanted to get like AirPods, and I was like, oh, these are cheap AirPods from AliExpress, so I might as well just try to sell it. And we ran it for about 2 days. Yeah, got no sales, got not many views. The ads are really bad from Fiverr, and yeah, like, although I didn't do really well. Like I kind of said to myself, like I'm gonna try this again later once I finish school, and I ended up doing it. So finished school in 2020, 2022, and pretty much got into a few other business things. I was in crypto for a little bit, did some NFT trading, but I always knew I wanted to go back to e-commerce just like in terms of the stability in it. And
Mhm.
as well as that, I had a few mentors that already were in ecom doing 7 figures. So just learning from them pretty early kind of got me into it. And I kind of saw the value in ecom as well, because I always say this to a lot of my friends, like ecom to me is like usually like a Swiss Army knife of skills. Because
Mhm.
like in e-commerce, like to be good at ecom, you have to be good at like multiple skills. You have to be good at,
Yeah.
if it's copywriting, if it's sales to an extent, if it's team building, if it's CRO. So I kind of looked at it as in this is kind of like a launch pad to business in the future in general. Like I think there's
Mm.
Ty Lopez says this a lot, that you have to be like a blue belt in multiple different skills in ecom, and then you find what your
Mhm.
black belt in, and then you kind of specialize in that. And then I've seen that a lot with kind of a lot of the guys that I looked up to in ecom, where they kind of have that black belt, like maybe 9 out of 10 skill in, if it's CRO or it's software, they end up making a lot of SaaS products and things like that. So I think that's what really drew me to e-commerce.
Interesting. Interesting. And so was that like what were your first, so initially you didn't have like a lot of success with e-commerce. So what kept you going?
Um, well, when I was young, I knew I didn't give it that much time, but
Uh-huh.
now, so before I joined BBA, I was actually doing TikTok ads for a while, and I tested like 6 to 7 products, and I knew there was like I knew there was a gap in my information. So
Mhm.
like I saw a lot of people online doing these really big numbers and things like that, and I can a lot of like obviously some of them they kind of sensationalize it, but then I realized some of them are really about it, and then I kind of looked at them and I think there's got to be something that I'm missing,
Mhm.
information that they're getting that I'm not getting. So then I kind of stopped running business for a while, and I was really just obsessed with trying to learn and kind of learn as much as I could. Like I'd go on Twitter a lot. I'd go and watch a lot of your interviews with some of your ex
Mhm.
some guys in the ESS group, and I'd watch that and I'd realize there's so much that I just didn't know. And
Mhm.
I was always kind of like, if I tried it already and there's other people doing it, like I don't see why I can't do it as well. So kind of just
Mhm.
went in full in and just like whatever happens, as long as I'm learning, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
took like a lot of time even off just running stores to just read as much books as I could. Tried to read as much copywriting books, human nature books as I could, just so I understood the game. And I think I got to a level now, just in the last few months, where at least I had the knowledge to kind of understand this game to a fair amount. Now it's the wisdom, which I'm getting through courses like this and mentorships like this, where I'm getting the wisdom through guys like you who've had the experience.
Mhm. Man, it's fascinating because that mindset is, I think that's one of the mindset that differentiates, successful people from people who never succeed. Because
Yeah.
in many cases, it's like people might be very kind of might not have like a lot of skills or knowledge, right? But they think that they know everything, right? And they're like, oh yeah, I tried, it doesn't work. Oh,
Mm.
I already know it. Oh, it's like, and so and they kind of like close their minds to like new information, right? They just discard it because they think that they're bigger than that, right?
Mm.
Whereas, as you said, the mindset that successful people have is, there's always something to learn, there's always levels to the game, there's always like new piece of information. And also I think that adds like excitement to life and overall like to
Mm.
building a business, right? Where it's not just like yeah, I want to become like, I want to make like $1 million. I want to make 10 million, 100, whatever the number is. But it's also about the journey and about the progress. Every day you're learning something. Every day, some things that work, some things don't. Okay, so how can I make it better? Who I can learn from, right? And so makes the whole journey a lot more exciting, a lot more kind of like, it's like a game, right? It's like
Absolutely.
you're going from one level to another.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
agree with you. I think yeah.
please, yeah, please.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's like you said before, a lot of people end up quitting early, but I think you kind of rewire your brain to kind of see problems as a blessing. That's really
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot. Like I kind of now like whenever I see a big problem, I kind of see it as like it's like, whether if you're religious and you say it's God or you think it's universe, like it's a blessing for you to kind of better entrepreneur in general. And it's kind of, to me, I'm religious. I can kind of see it as God testing me. And it's like, how can I beat
Mm-hmm.
that test? Where it's again, like you said, like it's like a game. So it's like when you see the problems, it kind of makes it a bit better. Because like if it wouldn't be fun if anyone could just do it and make $1 million straight away. You know what I mean? Like it's the problems and that kind of make people withstand the issues. And that's why like I feel like once you kind of are able to bypass the problems and kind of the more you prevail, the stronger you become. And I think it's a really big part of this that kind of helped me to kind of just withstand all the issues I've gotten.
Wow, this is such a good point. Because it's what you said. It's like the problems that you have. It's not necessarily the problem itself, but it's how you see it, right? So you might see like, oh fuck again, it's like obviously it's frustrating, but then as you said, like if you see it as a challenge, as like something that will make you like a better entrepreneur, and there is no way that you can have sustainable long-term success and go from one level to another if you don't become a better entrepreneur, right? You just have to know like how to make better decisions. You need to know how to process information faster. That will predicate like how fast you make decisions. You get new information, you process it faster. Over time you have to learn how to delegate to other people, right? How to make sure you motivate them, incentivize them to make sure that things getting done without your direct help, right? So that's another skill set that kind of like on that journey to become like a better person, you have to acquire. And so with all of those things, it's like, as you said, it's like if you keep seeing like obstacles, it's like, oh, I thought it would be like instantaneous, or like I'll become like a millionaire tomorrow. Then it's it won't happen, first of all. And second, even if it happens, I know so many people that made a lot of money in crypto, a lot of people with NFTs, like relatively easy money that they made. And now, talking to them, like, I mean, they lost most of it. Like most of them lost everything they gained because they didn't acquire many skills in the process. They got lucky. They bought it at the right time, at the right place. They associated with particular people, but they didn't know how to replicate it because it's not replicable.
Absolutely.
It's like one-time event. And so I think it's important to kind of like on that journey to just understand that obstacles that come your way, those are designed, as you said, to make you better like entrepreneur that's able to handle challenges of like $10 million business, $100 million business, whatever kind of like levels you envision for yourself.
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. So when it comes to like choosing products to sell, like what's your thought process? How do you choose products to sell currently?
Yeah. So I've actually only had one, like the one that we've scaled. It's just been the same one so far. I think the biggest mindset shift for me was changing from product to problem. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Just focusing on problems. I focus a lot on. I kind of niche down to either health or beauty, mainly because obviously it's the most scalable, and I kind of realized if like guys like you and other people in the course and other the coaches, like yes, it's a hard niche to scale in, but once you understand and you're good at things like copywriting, you understand product market fit and things like that, it's the most scalable.
yeah.
So I try to look for products that either have high LTV to start with or have potential to get high LTV in the future. So right now I'm in the beauty niche and anti-aging, and the product I sell right now is a one-time product, but I'm trying to eventually, once things go back up, move into if it's serums, if it's tonics, so I get high
Mm,
LTV just because obviously based on Facebook's new like iOS and things like that, it's really hard to be sustainable at high ROAS now. So I think it's really
mhm.
important to kind of get products that make you a lot of money on the back end consistently.
Yeah.
So you can lower that break-even ROAS overall over a long enough time frame. But in terms of actually like finding the products, I find it mainly through problems. So usually, well, in this certain products I have right now, I decided to focus on kind of like wrinkles, like fine lines,
Yeah.
sagging skin type of niche. And I went through a bunch of forums, went through Reddit, went through facelift reviews. I went through like 1,000 reviews, got through all
Wow.
the and kind of focus more on the problem and understand like the actual emotional side of the customer. And I think it's helped me a lot. I run funnels, I run advertorials and things
Nice.
like that. Yeah,
Nice.
so just understanding the customer very well and figuring out, how do they feel in the morning when they wake up and see stuff in the mirror? How do they feel
Yeah.
when customer sees them in the morning? So just so you kind of can tap into that deeper level of why they want the result.
Wow, such a good point. Right? This is the part that most people miss. They just like they
Absolutely.
go on the tactical levels, like which button to click in Facebook Ads Manager, where it's like the most important thing that you do is researching and understanding who you're selling to and how to position the product as as a solution to the to the problem that they have, and also how to differentiate from other people selling the same product, right? So the research, that the time that you spend kind of like researching that product and reviews and understanding what exactly the challenges, how to communicate them. Because for instance, you're not your customer, right? Like you are not like 45-year-old woman, right?
No.
Like you can't speak the same language. So the only way that you can acquire that intelligence, that intel, is by doing the research. I mean, we've made most of our money in also in the same niche, 40
Yeah.
45 plus women, and the same, we've had to do like a lot of research in order to understand how to position our products, what other solutions people have tried and failed with, right? Okay, you've tried like this one and this one and this one, and it didn't work, and here's why it didn't work. Because then you kind of like identified kind of the root cause of the problem, and that's why like it didn't work for you previously, but this time it will be different with this product. And so but the only way that you can acquire, as you said, is through forums, Reddits, like Amazon reviews. And you can become like really like proficient, like probably in a few days. If you do that research, like in a few days, you can become like 80-90% there with understanding how to position and how to sell your products.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of people miss that kind of, like you always say, the unique mechanism of the solution and unique mechanism of the problem. I think a lot of people don't highlight that enough. And I think, again, that's the main differentiator, especially in such a sophisticated market like health and beauty. You can't just say solution, solution, solution because they've heard it all. So I think you have to really tap into that, that deeper understanding, and kind of, like you said, like most solutions that they had didn't work, and you're kind of finding that common enemy that they have. And then you're kind of positioning your brand as the like opposition to your common enemy, and then you're making the customer the hero of their life. You're not the hero anymore. I think a lot of brands kind of make it seem like we're the best, number one, this, that, or this, but people don't really care about that. Like once you kind of switch it so that they're the hero, you can give them that epiphany moment that, oh, okay, this is why everything can work for me. And now you kind of logically explain to them, because you understand why other things don't work. You logically explain why it does work. That's why they have to buy from you. And then you just have a guarantee. You explain to them, you have social proof and things like that. And then I think once you kind of streamline the process and you kind of make it seem more simple to their brain, they're gonna buy. Because once you take away all their objections, there's nothing else left to do.
Nice. We have Paul Nicholas. He's been part of like ESS. If he's from Melbourne as well, I think. Paul Nicholas.
Yeah, actually, he's the reason why I joined BBA.
Nice, nice.
Yes, yeah. So I used to watch a lot of Kyle Weischer's videos, and then I saw him talk about Paul and a guy in Melbourne. So I followed Paul on Twitter, and I learned through a bunch of his content, and I really like a lot of his content. I think I even talked to him on Twitter a few times, and I saw him recommend you. I think I saw his interview with you, and that's how I found out about your stuff. And yeah, he's really that guy's a killer.
Yeah. So I see, I see a lot of like commonalities, like how you think, like even that research, like he's very big on that, and just implementing direct response, advertorial stuff like that, and he made a killing. He made a killing with that. So definitely that you can replicate for yourself. So what are the most kind of, so okay, so you do the research, right? In your process, you do the research to truly understand who you're selling to. You're mostly focusing on health and beauty markets, because that's where you can build the pain, right? That the pain is there, right? It's just like you have to communicate it, and explain why people need to buy your product specifically. In terms of funnels, like any particular like frameworks that you like to use, like advertorials, like do you use like 5 reasons why, listicles, do you use like story based? What's your preferred kind of funnel mode?
Yeah, so honestly, I've only actually tried advertorials so far. So I was a little bit lucky because my first advertorial actually was successful. And usually I know that's usually not like common. But I do want to test as well with 5 reasons why kind of format. I've seen especially in beauty, see it's been pretty common. So right now advertorials is my bread and butter so far, but I do want to expand into different funnels. But I think the kind of the power of advertorials is it really hides the sales process. So I think I watched an interview with Harvey, a few interviews with Harvey, and actually kind of got into advertorials a lot. And I think with advertorials is they're very scalable. They last a very long time. So like I think once you kind of found that winning advertorial and you kind of emulate, for example, I emulated a lot of like funnels, like I'm sure you know, a lot of health funnels from guys in ESS and things like that. Obviously, I don't want to name too many names, so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think advertorials are good, and if you're a good copywriter, it's really, really powerful because, like I said, it kind of hides the sales process, and at the same time, you can also charge them a lot higher because you've told them this whole story about where it's a dermatologist that found this and that was against the skincare industry and X, Y, and Z, and you can really justify why you want to sell, and then also they convert a lot higher overall at the bottom of the funnel because they've kind of been educated so much, and then once you get to that point, they're already committed to buy, and then they kind of, I feel like they trust you a lot more as well because you've not just given them like a video ad straight to the sales page. Now you've relayed to them that you understand them, 1, you understand the science behind it, 2, and that you're there to help them, 3.
So good point. It's kind of like, you know, the skills, as you said, like when you're doing e-commerce, it's one of those things that you have to acquire multiple skills. And pretty much like one of the most important skills that kind of like everything builds on top of it is like, okay, how do you get attention of someone, right? Like someone scrolling their newsfeed, like, I mean, they don't care. They don't know about that you exist, like I exist, like they don't care about that, right? But they have their problems in their minds, right? And they're just like scrolling. And obviously Facebook is so good at like showing, you know, the ads like to the person that's most likely to buy or has the intention or has shown by their previous behavior they're looking for that particular solution. And so now they see your ad, right? It's like, and in that ad you have that few seconds, right? So first you have to grab their attention, right? And stop them from scrolling. Second, throughout that process you have to like educate them, like resonate with them, like here's why, if you're, you know, have this like particular issues, here is what, you know, what's causing that, and just educate them throughout that process. But that, and I mean, you can learn about that process, as you said, just by learning successful competitors, just by learning successful advertorials of other people that doing, you know, millions of dollars per month. You can learn that by just watching successful ads and rewatching and understanding, okay, why they say this, oh, okay, after this they say this, right? It's kind of like reverse engineering every step of the process, why they do things in a particular way. I personally like to download the ads, you know, kind of like from the, for example, from ad library. Now we have our software, Get Hooked. So you should get an access if you didn't yet. It's pretty much like, you know, all of the ads from ad library saved in one kind of very easy to use dashboard, and also from there you can download these ads. And so, and we'll soon have the transcripts as well, so you'll be able not just download the ads but also create a transcript. And so once you have a transcript, you can read the whole script and you can understand how they're selling that particular product. And so with that, I think it's you know, kind of like if you start learning that, you commit like, you know, let's say even like few weeks to understanding a specific niche, you will have like probably more understanding of that niche than like 90% of people. because people just like pass this stage. They're like, I'm looking for an easy kind of, I want to find my winning product, right? And they go into that stage.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of people kind of like if they want it to be an overnight success, and like I feel like the bigger you rise, the harder you fall. So you want to kind of go through all those trials and tribulations early. So you want to go through all that hard work now, because then when stuff hits the fan, you don't know how to deal with it. So like once you kind of understand that like the problem so well, whether it's you understand your problem and how you market so well that when things go wrong, you trust yourself to be able to succeed in the future. Kind of like simple with the crypto guys, like like you need to understand the foundations of what you're doing, so it's not going to work. So, yeah.
For sure. So let me see if we have any questions here, guys. If just drop any questions here. Drop any questions here for Bukunmi, and he'll be helping you with if you have any questions about like choosing products, ads, funnels, anything like that. And so let me see here if we had any questions. So how is did you have any role models of entrepreneurship in your family?
Yes, my older brother is 4 years older than me. He's big into like SMMA and a few other businesses, and he was really big into making me kind of not like thinking that 9 to 5 kind of mindset. So like we used to play a lot of basketball, so I still play a lot of basketball, and since we were young, like it'll be like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I wake up in the morning, he'll be like playing audiobooks like in the car, and I'll tell him like, bro, like I don't listen to books, it's annoying, like I hate books, man, you're weird. And like he'd really forced that mindset into my mind, and now I think it's a big reason to why I think the way I do. But also probably in the last probably 1 to 2 years, I also have a lot of people that I like to follow on YouTube. For I guess guys that in the comments that want to follow them. A big guy that I like is Luke Belmar. I think he's a great guy for business mindset. Ty Lopez, I'm sure people know who he is as well. Who else can I think of? In eCom, obviously I think Kyle Weiss is another good one for eCom. Who else is good for eCom? Basically, eCom is pretty good, but I think the main thing is just getting that business mindset. But overall, apart from everything, I'd say reading books is the number one thing. Even if it's not even based on eCom, I think reading books, kind of understanding other people's points of view is so powerful, because it kind of opens up your mind to different levels of thinking that you wouldn't have been able to access without it, and you wouldn't even realize. I think a lot of people are too ignorant to kind of think, like you said, they know everything. I think fully kind of trying to understand someone else's message just gives you another layer of understanding that you wouldn't get naturally.
So good point. It's as you said, it's like it's understanding. It's like understanding the logic behind things, right? Absolutely. So like even like e-commerce as a whole, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's nothing special. It's like one person transaction to another person, right? It's one person kind of like, and transactions and merchants, all of that stuff has been happening for, thousands of years, right? People have been exchanging goods and services with each other for like thousands of years, right? So e-commerce is nothing more than people exchanging value, right? So let's say if I have $100 and you have the product or a service that has a greater perceived value than that $100, then I'll give you the money and you'll get me the product, right? And so at the core of it, it's very simple. And so I think a lot of people like overcomplicate it, and they think there's some magic to it. But at the end of the day, it's what you said previously. Let's say health and beauty, right? It's proven demand, right? Someone just asked a question here. What do you think of choosing the best products? What niche would you recommend? And we just covered that. Bukunmi likes health and beauty. I like health and beauty. A lot of successful people in e-commerce like health and beauty. It's a great niche because the paints are evergreen. There always will be people that have wrinkles. There always will be people, for example, we're in hair loss niche as well, that have problems with their hair. I see you're blessed with a good hair. I'm blessed with a good hair, but not everyone is, right? And so some people like losing hair here, right? A lot of men losing hair here. A lot of women also like have like thinning hair, like losing hair, and they're insecure because of that. And if they're insecure, they're constantly looking for a solution. And in that context, people say, oh, another kind of thing that people where people overthink it is like, oh, it's saturated. Oh, it's overly saturated. Now, it's only saturated if you don't know how to differentiate. I know so many people, including ourselves, like we are selling products in very saturated markets. I mean, anti-aging, product, like you selling anti-aging, it's very saturated, right? Saturated. But saturation only means high demand, right? People want it, right? And it means that other people, see it, that people want it, so they jump in. And so what you would have to learn, the most important skills that you'd have to acquire in that context is how to differentiate yourself. And then, pretty much like what we were like talking about, like, and the way you differentiate is by doing the research, by understanding your customer better, what other solutions they have tried that they failed before, that you can say like, here's why those other solutions didn't work, because they didn't have this one part here. This is the most important part, right? It could be part of your product. Maybe if you're selling consumable products, maybe it's ingredient that your product have. Maybe it's special process of making your product. Maybe one feature of your product. Maybe just like a good deal. Oftentimes, like it's like the, for example, one of the offers that works well for us is like buy two, get two free, right? Like if you buy two products. And so that by itself is amplifying the value of the product, because let's say other brands only selling one product, and they're not giving anything for free. And we're like, if you buy two, you get two products for free. And so really understanding that human psychology and why one person gives another person money for something, and understanding the logic behind it, I think is a foundation for building that skill. And you learn that, as you said, from books, right? Like understanding how certain people been able to build businesses, reading autobiographies of entrepreneurs, how they build businesses in different industries. So that will give you that initial foundation to start to start building successful business.
And I think what you said is really important. I remember there's something you said in the podcast, I think it was with Frankie Lee. They said like it's very much similar to politicians, and I agree with you on that, because for people who say politics is saturated, for example, but going back to like, if you look at even that unique mechanism that you're talking about, someone like try to be careful what I say, like Trump with Obama. It's all about, people will say like politics saturated, everyone's in politics, that you can't succeed in politics. But you listen to guys like Trump and how they're able to galvanize the audience, because he understands his market so well. Obviously, his market's a lot bigger than ours would be, but he just pretty much says the same thing. Like, this person went to this country, I wouldn't have done this. This is happening in our economy. This should have done this. I'm here for the people of America, make America great again. This, that, and that. I'm going to do this with that. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. It's really just an extension of marketing. Like, I'm actually reading his book, The Art of the Deal, and it makes so much sense now how he went from the business realm to the presidential realm, because he just understands his audience so well. I think that's what, in general, even outside of e-commerce, is the main thing. And whether it's sales, whether it's e-com, it's like you said, right? It's providing someone value. And I think a big quote from Elon Musk that I always live by is, you get paid in proportion to the problems you solve. So that's why, like, in terms of like health and beauty, it's why I like it so much, because the reason why they're so scalable is because they're the biggest problems. Like you said, like, it's a recycling market. People always gonna have this issue. It's never gonna go away. And people like it, usually they buy again. So I think that's just really important. People need to understand that saturation only really matters if you're not good at what you're doing.
That's
the thing I sell is the thing I sell is very saturated. Like, it's all over TikTok. Like, I'm sure people, like, it's very, very, very common product, but I'm selling it to a different market now, and I'm selling it in a different way. And that's the only reason why it works. Like, it's meant to be quote unquote super saturated, and then it shouldn't work. I know, like, he's people that try the same thing and haven't even get one sale. But it's really just based on how you're able to market and your ability to be able to market. So for people that say saturation, just means they don't want to put in the work to read the comments. They don't want to put in the work to go on Amazon. They don't want to put in the work to understand their market better and understand certain marketing skills that help you scale. Because saturation, like you said, just means like there's demand, and if there's demand, there's big scalability. Like if you're saturated, then it's like a first moving market. Yeah, you might be easier, but the scalability is also a lot lower. You know, like guys that kind of go for like these smaller EU markets, they do really well, but you end up hitting a cap. Maybe it's like 10K a day. They get a cap there, or they're in like Finland, something like that. That yeah, they're doing really well, but it's capped there because yeah, there's less demand, but it's also less supply of people.
100%. Wow, such good thoughts here, guys. Like rewatch it. Like if we'll be on YouTube, just rewatch it. I think the way you explain it is so good. Where you have I mean, there's only a few variables here, right? It's like number one is to make e-commerce business work, scale it to 1K a day, and then 10K a day and beyond. It's like number one is the market, right? Like start from there, like existing pain, existing problem that you can solve for people, existing competition. You always want to see competition. If there is no competition, because I used to think the same way. I used to think like, oh, there's like a lot of competition, and better like figure out something else. One of my first like business ideas, when I lived back in Ukraine, was diapers, for kids, for babies, reusable diapers. That was my my kind of like idea, because like I was thinking, yeah, it's like, I mean, everyone is buying these like regular diapers, and they're expensive, right? What if I sell the reusable diapers, so you can save so much money, right? Like, but it's so stupid idea, and I was like, oh wow, there's no competition. It's amazing. So, yeah. I bought the domain name of one of the I think one of the biggest like players, and I was on that that business. I never like passed it to the market, but that was my idea, and that just shows the flaw, the flawed thinking, where you think that if something has no competition, right, then it's a good product or a good idea in general. But what it shows you that first of all, I mean, some markets you can probably kind of like bring new product, innovate, and kind of like kind of dominate that market. But the amount of fucking capital that you would have to infuse every new market that you come in, let's say you want to create like a new market, literally, let's say if I wanted to create like a reusable diaper market, first I'm going against the human psychology. Like, I mean, fuck, I mean, you can't, it's so inconvenient. It's like, instead of like, let's say Uber, like it's 3 clicks, right? 3 clicks to call an Uber, right? Like that's why it's so less friction. It's so kind of like aligned with human psychology, because we want things fast, we want things easy, we want things convenient, right? And so now that same logic applies to any product that you sell. Like, how do you make it so perceived value, so easy to use, results in few minutes, right? That people are like, oh fuck it, here's my money, right? Because the perception of that value is so much higher than the price that they pay. So if I have a perceived value of like anti-aging, let's say anti-aging product, I don't know, maybe using this angle as well, but it's like, if your product can have like a similar results to what people would get if they go to like beauty salon, right? Every beauty salon visit is like few $100. It's a lot of fucking time. Like, oh, you have to commute, you have to drive back, you have to spend time there. Not everyone has time. Not everyone has money to go there. So if your product, okay, so this is like, you get the similar kind of results, but for a fraction of the price, you don't have to fucking spend time because you can use it at home. That's a great perception of value. And so, so I think it's important for people to, if you cannot make, your business work, or cannot make your product work, just think about the kind of like, what is perceived value of your product? Don't blindly copy someone, but really understand what is the perceived value. And if there is perceived value, but people still not buying, then think about how you differentiate it from your competition. That is the other variable, right? That we talked about as well. How you differentiate from your competition, how you building that gap between like, oh, here's why like none of these other products have worked for you because they didn't have this like one thing or few things that this product has, and that's why you have to fucking have it. And then you reverse the risk with guarantees. There's no problem if you don't like the product, you can return it, you can exchange it, whatever.
Absolutely, 100% agree. I think the main thing is kind of like you said, being able to increase the high perceived value, but obviously lower their objections as well. So lower the anxiety at the same time. So I feel like I use that angle a lot, like you said, right? Like $10,000 worth of appointments were for $65. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
I feel like once you can make it make sense in their life and it actually makes their life easier. I feel like a lot of people sell products and they might actually do a lot of things, but they make it sound so difficult, especially for all demographic, like in health and beauty. If you make it sound so easy, they want something that's easy to slip into their routine and saves them time. And if you can provide them value, whichever product you're selling, even if it's in the pet niche or whatever it is, if it provides them more value, then the money in the bank account they'll give you money, like you said before.
For sure. Yeah, we have a client in ESS right now, and he's doing pet supplements, and he is literally, his whole marketing is, pet products, pet supplements, right? It's a validated market. It's a huge market. It's something that people spend money on. That's something, I've heard, like in the United States, or maybe it's maybe exaggeration, people spend more on their pets that they spend on their kids or something like that. So it's like validated markets, right? But there's big competitors in that market, and his whole marketing is built on the premise that, if you're buying, XYZ product, which is, the one of the biggest competitors, right? He doesn't call the names, kind of like, but in that area, here's why it doesn't work. And he literally built the whole business. I think he does about 300K per month or something like this right now. But also it's a supplement product. It's supplement for pets, for dogs. And so there's like recurring on the back end. So he's building very solid business just by like tapping into existing market that already has demand, right? Number two, identifying how his product is differentiated from that, market, and pretty much, kind of like that's his whole marketing. So you can get a lot of momentum just by doing that. Or, we've had a conversation with Luke Voigt, our ESS client as well, a few weeks ago. He's a great guy, biohacker, and his main marketing angle, he's selling lion's mane extract, right? Like nootropic, like great product for mental clarity, mental fog. And his whole like marketing is pretty much based on the fact that, here is how to choose the right lion's mane product, right? He doesn't like, he's already talking to people who already know about lion's mane product, right? But just helping them to make a decision. Okay, here's what's important about the product. It has to be made in USA. It has to have all of these certificates, has to have, quality, testing, whatever, like the things that are important. And now, like, he compares his product to other products, right? And he literally, shows that his product is more superior, and that is the stuff that's working for him. And so just by doing that, now you will not scale it to like huge numbers, but that's definitely like a framework for like 100, 200, 500K per month, right? That you have initial foundation with your e-commerce, and then you can start building on that, and you can start tapping into more like markets that maybe don't know about your product, don't know about your category, but building on that pain. Hey, are you struggling with like mental fog and stuff like that? And here's why you're struggling, because let's say your brain lacking certain like ingredients, right? Or maybe you're exhausted from like UV lights, right? And you need some kind of like protection for that. And then you educating.
Just kind of going down like the awareness, like the market awareness ladder, right? So it's going from solution aware, and then like as he scales, he's kind of going lower down the ladder. But obviously, the higher up the ladder is, the more aware they are, so they're more likely to buy. And he's kind of like a 5 reasons why, not 5 reasons, kind of like a top 5 competitors kind of thing that you see in beauty. They kind of do like, these are the 5 products. This one has this efficiency, this price, but overall, this is the one we pick because of that.
100%. Yeah.
Really,
And it's also taps into what we talked about previously when choosing products to sell. It is important to go after existing demand. Like, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't try to go after totally unaware market and try to educate them, because that shit is expensive. Like big corporations, like maybe they have enough resources to introduce like a particular product and push it with enough marketing, right? To pretty much like the way usually, if you think about like how new products are being introduced, let's say if we talk about like there's this Australian company, High Smile, you're probably familiar. Right?
Yeah.
Very successful guys. And so I think they were like one of the pioneers of this like masks, right? Of not the mask, but like LED lights, kind of teeth whitening stuff, right? Now, how they brought it to the market. So they had, at least that's what I see. And maybe it was different, but from my perspective, it's always done through like big influencer campaigns, right? So they had like, I think who they had, like Conor McGregor, right? They had like big influencers, right? That they like, okay, if Conor McGregor is using it, then probably it's a good product, or probably it's like, it's okay to use a product like that, right? But it has to receive some kind of like validation from people that have high authority, right? It's like, oh, okay, so if these celebrities are using, then it's probably okay, then it's probably safe, then it's probably works. But like the problem with that is, the biggest problem is that shit costs a lot of money. Not everyone can pay like Conor McGregor like $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, whatever he charges for that stuff. And so, but this is how new markets are being created. This is how new markets are being like educated, right? If let's say 100, 100 biggest like influencers decided tomorrow that like it's okay to walk naked on the street, then you probably would see millions of people walking naked, because they think, oh, it's like if Kim Kardashian said that, it's probably okay to do that, right? So these people have so much power and so much authority and so much influence to introduce some new kind of a concepts, but not every business has that. And so you have to understand kind of like what level, what playing field you're at, and that you simply cannot afford to educate these markets from very like unaware to like where you want to buy them product. And so in that context, again, like you have to start from very aware market and just show them, okay, so compare your product, as you said, to other products that already people already buy, right? Or maybe like those other products lacking one specific thing that this product has, and this is amazing foundation for you to get momentum with e-commerce.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think even a lot of people try to think like, oh, I want to do this new unique thing that only I've done before. But even you look at someone like Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, like he's bought into already preconceived ideas and he just expanded on it. Whether that's X, whether that's even SpaceX to an extent, obviously with Tesla as well, he bought in like this idea that you're gonna find this new thing that's like people say, nothing new under the sun, and you're gonna act like you have this straight new idea. Like it's possible, but at the same time, like even guys that are so experienced in business for 20 years plus, they don't do that. Only some small minority people do it. And I'm not saying it's not possible, but it doesn't really make that much sense. There's a book called Blue Ocean Strategy that's I like a lot, that kind of talks about kind of finding blue oceans and red oceans. But even in the red ocean you're in, which let's say like even if you're in a red ocean, you can still find market share in that red ocean that differentiates you, like you said before. And I think that's the most important thing, that you can still emulate people and still find your uniqueness. It doesn't have to be a completely different to everybody else. It can be somewhat similar and then be a collection of your own like ideas into that red ocean. Like trying to find a complete blue ocean, like that's never been heard of, that's never been seen, like that's never going to happen. Even if you look at its colors in general, like if you look at the mix between maybe blue and green, you make this certain color, it's still a mix of two different things. It's not like it's something completely new.
So good point. And yeah, you just mentioned like Elon Musk, right? Like how he, the concept of electric cars, it's not like it wasn't, or he was the first one to create it, right? The concept was there for a long time, but he just brought like so much authority, right, and good marketing to educate the market about these cars and make it cool and make it like. But I mean, that comes with his humongous influence, right, that he had. And so, and then other cars, okay, oh fuck, okay, we have to jump on it as well. Not now, pretty much every manufacturer is jumping on those cars. But let's say if Ford decided to, Ford is not like, or Ford or like any of these other manufacturers, they're not that good at marketing as Elon is, right? That's why he sells the most cars. And so if they decided to do it, that could flop. Absolutely, that could flop. Yeah, it's a great product, it's innovative product, but then they just can't like educate market cost efficiently for them to buy the product. And so, and that's what, again, kind of like correlates with what we just discussed. It's so important to understand where you at in that cycle, right? What kind of resources you have, and especially if you're starting like, from your bedroom, like I did, like you probably did, then it's with those limited resources, you just have to go for the easiest wins possible, right? And you have to put in the work, as you said, with your hours and your effort to do the research, to understand who you're selling to differentiate from those existing competitors. And that's how you build the initial momentum. That's how you build the initial capital. And then you can go from there and kind of like move up the ladder. But this is the best starting point for most people. Awesome, man. So what was your experience with BBA so far? Like how's everything going with our team? And what was your experience?
Yeah, it's been great, man. Like I've had a lot of issues that have been outside of the marketing realm as well that I think that's helped me a lot. Like honestly, before even joining BBA, because I did do a lot of research and I actually learned a lot. I kind of had a lot of the knowledge already, but kind of like I said before, I didn't have the wisdom, I didn't have the experience. And I feel like with most courses, like they give you some information, say, okay, goodbye, to figure it out. But with something like e-commerce where it's so data driven and it's consistent changes all the time, just having coaches that are doing what you want to do right now, it's super important to have real mentors that are always there and always there, like every step of the way, teaching you, okay, don't do this, don't do that. Because for me, like I had a lot of the knowledge, but they were like, okay, let's use this part of what you know now. Instead of just putting it all at once. I used to just put it all out at once and then you kind of think of 10 different ideas that you've heard from like 10 different people. But kind of streamlining your thoughts is what I've found that's been really helpful for BBA. So I feel like even for someone that I probably didn't come in as a straight beginner, like I had pretty good knowledge of eCom already, just having mentors that really care as well is really important. I think you can tell if the coaches that are on your team, they really want to actually help you. I think in a lot of courses, like maybe they'll respond to a few messages on like Discord and they'll respond for like 5 days and they give you very vague information. But like the guys on your team that like you work with, they're with you every step of the way and they know, all right, you're in the beauty niche. This is what works in the beauty niche usually. Okay, this didn't work. Let's try this funnel. Based on the last 3 years, this is what usually works. Like there's so many things that if I wasn't in a mentorship like this, I wouldn't know. And I would have just been in the dark. And I would have been struggling for 3 to 4 years. Even though I probably knew the information, I just didn't know how to apply it. So I think just being able to apply information is super important with groups like this.
Man, so good. Thank you so much. And from our side, it's like, I have coaches, right? It's like, I've done well in my field. I've done okay, right? Like for myself, my family, but like there's so many things that I still don't know. And even if I know, as humans, we forget shit. Like sometimes we do some dumb mistakes. Sometimes we're like, I don't know, maybe I didn't have like a good night's sleep and I do something and it's like, oh, and then, you have a coach, you have some kind of like accountability level where it's like someone is just checking on you or someone that you can ask questions that like can just guess your judgment, right? And question your judgment. It's like, you sure that's the best thing that, oh no, it's like, oh, fuck. I mean, I can actually do like, okay. And now it's like, questioning and giving those like extra ideas so you can process. So, even like successful athletes, they all have coaches, right? Do they not know everything they need to fucking do? If they done this like for 10, 20 years, right? Day in, day out, do they not know like how they need to train, right? But there's one little nuance here, right? And someone just watching externally, right? and giving them feedback right away on the spot. This is what makes it, this is what makes it valuable. And I wish I had something like we have right now. When I was starting out, I didn't have that kind of like environment, right? Because it's all about the environment. Okay, are you in the right environment? Are you pushing yourself? Is there someone to check in on you and give you feedback when you're struggling, and kind of like fix those challenges and obstacles that are inevitable in business?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think like with courses like this, like I'm not even trying to say this just like someone to call for you, but I feel like it's really hard to fail if you really want to do well. Like if you really want to implement what people tell you and your mentors tell you, it's really difficult to fail. Like, yes, it might be difficult to find success to start with, and it might take you like a long time. Like some people might take them a month, some might take people 6 months. But
Yeah.
if you really like, it's really difficult to fail if you have guys that are doing exactly what you're doing day in, day out, and you just implement what they tell you over a long enough time frame, you will succeed. I feel like a lot of people kind of don't give enough of a test, so they're just a bit too arrogant to listen to other people. Like once you kind of remove that preconceived ideas you have already, and you kind of just listen and you're ready to kind of just get taught, that's when you can find success in any mentorship, whether it's in eCom, whether it's in sales, whether it's SMA, whatever it is. As long as you kind of find mentors that they know what they're talking about, and you kind of follow what they do step by step, and you really are eager, and you're asking them questions, and you're kind of coming to them with solutions, and you ask them what's the best solution out of these three, instead of coming in and saying they're gonna save me, what should I do? Like if you just do that, like obviously you're not gonna find success, because then you can't just rely on people. You know what I mean? You can go for like to get people for guidance. They'll guide you the right way, but you still have to do. I think kind of see it kind of as a boat, right? You can have a captain, but you still have to do the rowing. So if you don't do the rowing, then it's not going to do anything. They can guide you, but you still have to do the work.
100%. Well, such a good analogy. Such a good analogy. It's in any kind of like relationship, either it's, let's say it's relationship like man and woman, right? Like it's the couple, right? The relationship, it's always like both parties, they have to work on their relationship, right? Sometimes they have to get vulnerable, right? Sometimes they have to like put their ego aside, right? Sometimes they have to like listen more than talk, right? And so in any one of those, it's like the work needs to come from both sides, because if one person trying to make the relationship work and another person is like kind of just discarding everything or just putting everyone on another person, not doing what they need to do, then that relationship won't work out long term. And so it's such a good point you mentioned that, because like, yeah, even coming into any like mentorships, I think people need to have the right kind of expectations, right? That they would need to put in the work in order to make it work, right? It's like it's
it's not magic.
Yeah, it's not magic. And any of these kind of like opportunities where the business like will build like your whole business for you, like that shit doesn't exist. Like maybe like very rare like outlier even, I mean, it doesn't exist. Business is a byproduct of a person, right? So if the person has the right kind of mindset, willing to learn the skills, and there's multiple skills to learn, and puts in the work, then the business will be successful. And along that path, as they build a business, they can get help of like mentors and guides and to kind of like fill specific gaps in that business to make it whole and to make it successful. But it's something that kind of like people sell it with lifestyle on Instagram very often, is like, yeah, you just like pushing the button and it's like somehow like the business built itself. That is not necessarily how it works, right? People have to put in the work, and this is very important to understand.
Yeah,
it's even understand. It's like, even so, I'll just add this one. Sorry for interrupting. I'll just add this, like with even when you like you jumped into this, right? And right now you're seeing how many moving parts are there, right, in a business, right? Software engineer, like, yeah, you have to like learn software engineering, and like kind of there's like one thing that you have to be good at, right? Or there's obviously new skills and new kind of like code languages and stuff like that, but it's less moving parts than, let's say, building like an e-commerce business, right? But then the upside of that, if you crack it, if you figure it out, in 5-10 years you can be financially set for life, right? Being software engineer, yeah, you'll make like a good income, but probably you will not be able to retire yourself after like 5-10 years. So the outcomes, if you get it right and if you get the help like along the way, could be like tremendous. Sorry, I interrupted you. You want to say something?
No, all good. I was just gonna say, like, yeah, I agree with you. I think the main thing is just what you're surrounded by, right? As you say, like, you're some of the 5 people you're surrounded by, and I think when you're surrounded by guys that are killers in what they're doing, obviously you're gonna become a killer by nature. So I feel like surrounding yourself with people that are successful in the field you want to be good at, whether it's eCom or whatever it is, obviously, eventually, just by osmosis, being around it, you're gonna pick up things. Like I've picked up things. Like I probably say some things like accidentally that I've heard maybe Serhi say it in a call, for example, on accident, because I've heard it so many times and you just understand what they're saying. That's why I think your network in any business you're doing is the most important thing. Like to me, I think, and I'm sure you probably would say similar things. You've been to those levels. Like the main thing from going to like 7 to 8 figures or going from 6 to 7 figures is really who you know at the end of the day, because you don't understand certain things. Like I would have no idea what funnels were if I didn't watch certain people. I was just doing normal product pages for a long time. But I think just kind of exposing yourself to bigger environments consistently is how you kind of improve the best way. And I think a course like this, or any course in general that's really trying to help people consistently, and you're kind of getting access to people that are, whether it's even a WhatsApp group of guys that are all on the same path as you or doing better than you, is the best thing you can do for yourself in business. Because like you said, the business is pretty much infinite scale. Something where it's like a 9 to 5, whether it's you're being a surgeon or whatever it is, say making high 6 figures as a surgeon. At the same time, you're still capped. And I agree with you a lot in that kind of mindset where I think you should get paid in proportion to your value. And I think the more value you bring, the more money you should make. Whereas like a 9 to 5 job, unless it's like a sales job and it's commissions, regardless of your work ethic, you don't make more money. So I feel like with eCom, it's really based on, okay, maybe I'm going to this mastermind here, I'm going to this mastermind there, I'm learning this, I'm learning that, I'm learning how to do this new skill as best as I can. And the dividends will show itself.
Yeah, I literally on that note, like, I mean, in 2 hours, I'm flying to Arizona, like to another state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like to a mastermind. That mastermind is like, it's like $80,000 a year, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Do I need to do it? I don't fucking have to do it. Do I have to pay $80,000 to someone? I don't fucking have to. I can buy a fucking, I don't know, like you can buy a car, like, whatever, like, right? But it's just like to show that's like it never stops. If you decide that you know everything, if you think that you're too smart to get mentorship, to get help, then I mean you deserve to be broke. Like shit. I mean, it's like it's simple as that. Like it's kind of like we have to get vulnerable at times, right? We have to like, fuck. I mean, I don't know this shit. Help me, please. I'm open. I'm willing to put in the work. I'm open fucking book, right? I'll do what I need to do from my side. I need help, right? And so I think that's something that a lot of people kind of like, they get like, it's like, yeah, I don't want to open up. I don't want to like get vulnerable. I don't want to like realize that I don't know certain things. And I think that's why people get stuck, and then they're like 40 years old, 50 years old, and they're like, fuck, like shit. It's like, and now it's like, it's harder to learn new things, harder to like, so it's something that, those are important mindset shifts that someone needs to just like think about, and like, what I want to do, who would I want to be, right? If what I do actually fulfills me, like you said about your software engineering career, that like, fuck, it's like if I do it for like 10 years, yeah, you'll be making great income. Like, I mean, software engineers making like great income, but it's like, will that make me fulfill? Will that make me happy? Will that make me like, if you want to like retire by 30, like you can retire by 30. Like, David Fogart, I mean, he's like, what? It's like, he's also from Adelaide, right? Like Adelaide.
David Fogart, he's from South Adelaide, yeah, I think so. Yeah, so stay left. Yeah.
Yeah, he started early, few years in, set himself for life, taking care of his parents. Like it's those kind of things, right? Is if you're committed to getting on this path, there's all of the opportunities, there's the whole vehicle is there. right? Like it's very scalable. Once you find a good proof of concept, economics work out, you can scale products to, millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. And I think we're super blessed to live in this time and age, like where, literally was fucking like, I'm sitting in my office, it's warm here, like nothing is fucking, no danger around me. Like you're sitting in your place, and we can build businesses. We can build businesses from here. So and sell products to millions of people. That's just fucking insane. And well, man, I always have this like at the end of every call. So next time we have a conversation when you're at 100K a month, and then we'll have another one at 1 million a month.
That's the plan, man. Hopefully get that pretty fast. Once I get this basic stuff fixed, hopefully we can get that next call in.
Yeah, because like I see the mindset that you have. It's like, I mean, you understand the stages of awareness, right? You understand breakthrough advertising, all of those concepts. Absolutely. You understand them, you're committed to mastering this shit. And that's the most important. If you're every day, I'm learning something, every day I'm learning, even like someone in the program like ours or any other course, like if there's like call recordings, like watching those call recordings, kind of like trying to understand and consume every piece of information you have to have like a complete kind of, picture of how the business works. And so if you're committed to that journey, there's no fucking way that you won't make it work. There's no fucking way that you won't make millions. There's zero. Like if you stay fucking at it. Like, yeah, might take like 6 months, 12 months, even if 24 months, even if it takes you 24 months to make like $1 million, like, does it fucking matter? like shit. I mean, it's like, so those kind of things we just important to kind of realize, I think, for most people that, getting on this path.
I think it's important to kind of like as time goes on, like if you're just staying stagnant by nature, you're going to be regressing because time doesn't stop. So I feel like people kind of get comfortable so quick, especially in the West. You're from Ukraine, so I'm sure it's a different mindset that you probably have. And me coming from immigrant parents coming to Australia, it's a different mindset that's kind of instilled in us that you can't stay stagnant because like if you just are so comfortable, then you deserve to be broke. Like if you're not every day thinking like I like to think of it as war. Like every day, if you're not going to the battlefield every day trying to compete, like if you don't compete in the ads manager, your ads won't perform anymore and your competitors will beat you. So I think it's just every day seeing businesses as war, not just fun game that it finishes. That, I made my money now. Especially in Australia, I feel like a lot of big business guys here, even in e-commerce guys that some of my mentors, some people that I know, like they'll hit like 5K a day Australian dollars and they'll just stay there for like 3 years and then they start doing courses and stuff. But like the mindset's just a lot different with guys in America, guys in ESS, guys in Europe, where these guys is always at it. Like Merrick, for example, these guys always at it, like always trying to succeed. Like Paul in Melbourne as well. I feel like that's just the mindset that overall, even if it's not just to make more money, but always having that battle in your life is super important.
So good point. So good point. And on different levels too, right? Like, so even when you go to the gym, you're working out, right? Like you're beating that internal bitch. Like it's like there's like it's like I don't want to go to like no, you fucking go, right? You fucking go and you work out, right? And then like in the business, right? Like when you have the competition, if your ads are not profitable, it just means like other people better than you.
Yeah, you're not good.
Yeah. That's it. Simple as that. Okay, so now you just ask yourself, how do I become better? How do I beat? How do I win? Right? And so breaking down that process, and on that side, it's like either creatives or funnel. I mean, two biggest, or the product, right? So if the product is validated, product has proven demand, then it's either creatives or a funnel. Very simple. Okay, I have to become better at both. How do I become better at both? Boom, boom, boom. Start research, learning, mentorships, courses, but commit to that. And so, and that is it. I mean, as you said, very good mindset, actually. Very, very good point in terms of how to see this whole picture every day. It's indeed like you're competing against other people, you're competing against yourself, you're competing against your previous identity that probably is not ready to do what you're doing now. So you have to kind of like transcend that identity into another level, right? And change some behavior patterns that you've had in the past that might not be like super productive. And so yeah, but it's constant work, constant awareness, but that's what makes this game exciting. It's like
Exactly.
it's every day there's something new.
100% agree with you.
My man, thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, we have a new one at when you're at 100K a month. And yeah, I'll message you. We'll see. Any kind of like solutions. Maybe I'll be able to help you out with issues you have now. And yeah, let's crack it.
No worries, man. Thanks for the call. I appreciate you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for your trust. Kind of investing in BBA. I know it's like it's it's not cheap, and it's not designed to be cheap. Like we have resources to maintain the team, maintain all of the resources of the program. But thank you for pulling the trigger, because it's I mean, we have to. There's no way that we can't like. We can get better if we don't invest in ourselves. There's no fucking way. I invest in myself. You invest in yourself, and it's like that's the only way to accelerate that progress.
Yeah, and I think I've been through multiple different mentorships as well, but like I said, I think it's just the mentors that you guys have and the coaches you guys have. Every single person on the team really actually wants to help you. I've not met anyone on the team that actually won't go out of their way to really help you, and I think it's why like. Even in the first few months where I couldn't even really run anything, I still knew I was going to pay every month just because I saw the value in it. And I feel like most people don't. Most people just, like I said, they want it to be a get rich quick scheme. But if you look at it like at a kind of bird's eye view and look at what you're providing your team, and even like the pathway from BBA to ESS and seeing what those guys do, I think when people kind of learn more about this game, you can understand these guys, they know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like most other courses, like you can kind of tell like the testimonials are kind of weird and like they're kind of saying like, you can tell like it doesn't seem like very genuine, but like I could really tell with ESS and BBA that these guys are really about it. I think that's where you guys have that unique mechanism, right? Where like you guys are really, really about what you guys do. And that's why I'm happy to stick around and I'm happy to be a part of it. Thank you.
Let's fucking go, my man. Yeah, and from our side, we are committed to results. We are committed to these fucking, life-changing like testimonials, life-changing results. Helping you to overcome all of the obstacles, like fucking eliminate it, crush them. On your path to first 100K a month, then 1 million a month, and yeah, super excited to be with you on this journey, my man.
Can't wait. Should be good.
All right, let's fucking go. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be wrapping up here. And yeah, thank you for watching. How do people connect with you? If people want to connect with you, maybe some Australians here as well.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to network with people. I'll send you my Instagram. It's really all I use. I'll send it to you in a private chat. You can put it on your thing.
And I'll put it on screen.
It's just my first name, then 20. Oh, actually, no, I changed it. It's just first name, last name with a dot. So Bukunmi.Okadara.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Yeah. So, guys, Bukunmi at dot Okadara, and you can connect with Bukunmi. He's in Melbourne, so find the Australians here. Aussies, right? You guys call yourself Aussies?
Yeah, Aussies.
Aussies. All right. Good stuff. Yeah, my man. Thank you so much. And yeah, looking forward to see your next breakthroughs.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it, Alex.
Thank you. Bye-bye.